We have come, proceed to enter. We have come, see the gates opening. We have come.
And shalom, shalom. And there's peace within and peace without. This is our ultimate purpose of being, is to enter into the universe of peace, peace within and peace without. Peace within all of our parts, and peace with all species, all planets, all stars, all states of light. It's a great honor to be here. The most honorable position that we can have is to speak the words of Elohim. Think of it. Coming out of the myriads of billions of stars. Coming into a state of manifestation. Coming into a state of millions and millions and millions of souls. And then to be able to capture thoughts of antiquity and to carry those in our heart and upon our lips. To be one with the great diversity of light, ever speaking to us silently, cutting streams in the universe, parallel and vertical lines, diagonally, joining together the thoughts from one end of the universe to the other. So unto this end, we speak unto the ends of the earth. We've heard that phrase before, the ends of the earth, but what does it pertain to? It pertains to the culmination, the purpose of the earth, to let the light within the earth extend all the way through it, from one end of the earth to the other, from the east unto the west, from the north unto the south. We speak into the ends of the earth, from the top of our head into the soles of our feet. Thus, when we are sent forth as the Lamadim, the disciples of Yahushua, we're sent forth to the ends of the earth, that the light might extend through us fully, completely. That the purpose of this planetary body that we call Earth, or every state of light, will resonate the earth within it, the light within it, and expand that light to its fullest extent, which has no end. It's during these days, and specifically every day has a meaning, appointment time for us to gather, together with the lights, to meet the appointments of Baina, the Queen of Understanding, the Queen of the North, who appoints our days, who appoints our offerings. And this day, to celebrate the joy of our Queen, Ushate, the Queen of the East, coming into our house. She's a great mediator. She will stand with you against all opposition. She will encounter the voices of degradation and those who would want to try to keep you under or to put you to death. She will go to the gates of our brothers in Persia and plead the cause of the numbers of Yehudim that are within. Ushate, our queen, our father Nadab today, a father that makes distinction between light and darkness, who creates the night and creates the day, who speaks 8:8 unto us, causing us always to be in a mode of ascension. We have the illuminators of the offerings today, those of Nephtali, the wood, and Gad, the lamb. And we have Ozaria, the strength to speak, the strength to get up, the strength to go forth, the strength that's within your heart, for you to branch forth, to go beyond where you've ever gone before. You have the strength of Ozi, the foundation of the rock within you. Every day is so much assistance, so much service of illumination towards us. Think of the great expense of the sun, the great expense of the stars, the great expense of the moon, just those alone. All expense of planetary orbits that's surrounding us that we are engaged with. What is the offering that we can give that can compare to this great love? It behooves us, by even examples of all that surrounds us and is given to us day by day, to come before with our light. There's no greater love than to give what you have. There is no greater love. To bring forth the illumination that's stored within you from Shemayim, from the heavens, that is sent to the earth to become a great light. Thus we have the words in this moon phase of Zevulun, the third month of the year, the prophecy from Yeshayahu, Isaiah, chapter 9. There is no gloom upon her who is distressed. As when at first one is humbled in the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan to Galileo of the nations. The people who are walking in darkness will see a great light. Upon those who dwell in the land of the shadow of death, a light will shine. What light is this in the land of Zebulun? What light is it that will come upon the land of Naphtali? Is it talking about someplace in the Middle East? Is he talking about some other planetary realm? Could it be speaking of you? Could it be speaking of the land of Zebulun as your tongue runs through your body like a serpent and coils up into your abdomen and exit at your tailbone? That is Zebulun. The flame of fire from the altar of Yah. And Naphtali, the heart that bears the light of your name, whereby it ascends through your offerings. So how do you approach this light? This light of antiquity that has been in you from the time that you are born of the Al-Hahim upon the mountain. How do you come to this light? You can say, how did you come to the world? This is the concept I want to think about today, is approaching enlightenment. How you approach the light within yourself, how you approach the light within the Ahahim, how you approach the light in all species and all plants. For they too have eyes, they too have ears, they too have bodies. How do you approach these various types of species that are in the world. For they have the light of Yah in them. For everything that's made is by light, and thus there is nothing here but light. Every cell of your body is a center of light. And that light is your life. My journey into the light comes from my mother. As it says here in the prophet Yeshayahu, who have come by the way of the sea, the womb, the land of Ayashur. Who have come in the spirit of meekness, humbled themselves to enter into a body, whose heart has been humbled to bear the great burden, mission of your name. The light began to flame through the letters of the Ovri, I call it ancient Hebrew characters. And when I began to study Hebrew, I took a sharp turn almost immediately around the next corner. Many people think that Hebrew today is the Aramaic language or the square script under the captivity of Babylon. But I began to study the language, what's called modern Hebrew. I had a question pop up in my mind. Is this the oldest form? Is this the characters that the scriptures were written in? Are these the language that the Elohim wrote? And I found to my joy, path to the Paleo, Hebrew, the Ovri, language of transference. How light is transferred into words, characters, and transmitted into forms. And my teacher was Yaakov Rolek from Cincinnati. And Yaakov said, Shavuel, a student of the Bible without Hebrew is like a carpenter without tools. To comprehend the vastness of the riches of the documentaries, the parables, the prescriptions of the 7 scrolls of Torah, commonly called the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, requires us to look at the language, the organization of thought, the letters and their arrangement that make up these readings. And certainly all of you can remember 22 things. Oh, it's too hard for you? I don't think so. You can tell me 22 things very quickly. And much more than that. In fact, most people speak, well, 10 to 20,000 words a day. So it's not too difficult to learn 22 signs and to be able to say the letters in order and to know their meanings. For they will guide you as they record messages of light in 7 complete dimensions, which will stimulate the light within you to flame and to come forth. There are the stories of the letters of the alphabet. This is called the Bible. The 22 scrolls of the Tanakh, each given for one letter of the letters of Al-Hakim. Thus the story of those who wrote the scrolls, as they are arranged, came forth in an acrostic manner. They said that the book of Sefer Maaseh Bereshit, Genesis, would be the letter Alpha. And the next scroll, Shemut, Exodus, would be the letter Bayit. Until they saw a great composition of all of these thoughts coming in the letter Ta'uah, what's called the Divrei Hayamim, the Book of Chronicles. This acrostic writing is to be read in the order of the letters, understood in the meaning of the letters, whereby the veils or complexities of the parables or the writings become illuminated, the light within them comes forth through the letters themselves. You know, light speaks without words, as Tehillah 19 tells us, that light streams every day, but there are no words spoken. And hence the light creates strands of energy. We call these chords. Chords of Al. The light is ordered then into thoughts as the light assembles, finds a place of refraction, through which the signs or the letters now be able to utter the messages of light. And from the organization of the letters comes forms or manifestation. These acts or movement of the light are told in parables, whereby their messages are never static. They're not historical, but they're continually unfolding as you come to that level of the parable. As you come to enter into the womb of your mother for the expansion of your name, you come to the stories of Abraham. As you come to break forth from the waters of your mother and to identify yourself as to your mission, you come to the stories of Yitzhak. As you form a crown upon your head and to claim the 12 houses within your body as your soul, you come to the stories of Yaakov. Thus you interface with these parables directly according to the level of development and maturation of your understanding. Come on. In that we are stardust, we're able to receive words of the same essence, frequencies of light, and to be harmonic with them. The way that you can receive messages from the sun and moon and stars and all of the entities of Shemayim, of names, is because you are of the same essence. Thus there's no restriction within you to receive the messages and to become the light, to enter into it. And thus to enter into the light, in which is in your name, in your seed, in your houses, in your cells, is the focus of this presentation, approaching enlightenment. We may study mathematics, science, philosophy, and art. All of those disciplines are very broad and inclusive. As language comes under the topic of mathematics, as all words are calculations of numbers. Numbers are first coded, given movement, interactions, to enter illuminations. And while we study the world and the mathematics channels, science investigation, which is affirming faith, philosophy, means of interpretation, and art, means of expression. And we come to tap into it with our senses and feel it with our hands and taste it upon our tongue. And though we memorize sacred text, and we can quote various sacred writings, we could just be blind. We could not understand anything, even though we're so intimate with it. Because we did not approach the light. We approached the darkness. We looked at the black text, what was written. We didn't see the light from which it was written. We ate the food, but we didn't understand its composition. That it was light. We looked in the mirror every day just to be sure we were ready to go. And every hair was in place. Then we had our matching colors, our costume ready to go. But we didn't look inside. What was the source of all this? We're given many codes and means in the parables and the scriptures to comprehend what is within us. We can say that the Kwanim, the facilitators or servants of illumination, were great scientists because they dissected the body. They analyzed how all of the bones were put in place and how from the bones came the nerves, and from the nerves came into tissue and manifestation of bodies to record that which was in the crystals of the bones. We talk about the Ark to the Covenant. And how many would like to find the Ark? And how much great expense has there been in archaeology and scoping over and trying to investigate where the Ark is and what happened to it? We lost it. And one morning I woke up, sat inside of my bed, and I seen, as I put my arms down on my lap, the voice said, 1.5 cubits. Yes, it's 1.5 cubits. Measure it. A cubit from your finger to your elbow, and elbow, 1/2 cubit from your elbow to your shoulder. 9 inches here, 18 inches here. 1.5 cubits. Yes, it is 1.5 cubits from my neck to here, and from here to my loins, 1.5 cubits. The height of the Ark is 1.5 cubits. And I'm thinking, oh, that number is so close to me. Where are the 2.5 cubits? The length of the Ark. And so as I'm sitting there, the Spirit said, look, just put your elbows here to your waist and to your knees. There's a cubit. And put your elbow to your kneecap and to your ankle. There's another cubit. And look at the measurement of your foot, 1/2 cubit. There's your 2.5 cubits of length. Yes, but there's another dimension to the Ark, and it's 1 cubit. And it's called the width of the Ark, or the breadth of it. So I put my hand across like this, from shoulder to shoulder. There was 18 inches, a cubit. Ah, I see. The anatomy of every person is the Ark. It is in exact measurements. I was en route, and I met a teacher and his father traveling also. And so why are you going to California? I said, well, I've been invited to participate in a seminar. What are you speaking on? I'm speaking on enlightenment, approaching enlightenment, how to approach it. And he's sharing information about how to come to the light that's within the soul. And I told him the story of the ark. First of all, I had shared that all this information was coming from Paleo-Hebrew, from the ancient language. He said, how exciting. You mean you'll be able to actually read the scriptures in original language? How many have ever heard that or even thought that? How many people want to, oh yes, let's get back to the original text. So we study Hebrew, we study Septuagint in Greek. We study different languages and compare them. We would find Paleo and we study Paleo. Getting back to the original sense of these wonderful masterpieces of parables. So I explained to him the ark. Yes, it is within you. All the letters, all the records are within you. And I tell him the story, how the measurements are corresponding to your anatomy. And how the Tehillim tell us that the ark will come, the illumination will come to reside within this. A head will form upon the body, and it will carry the illumination. Yes, I found this very interesting, he said. But where's the box? Box? Who said it was a box? You see, he made a commitment to premature cognition. He's seen pictures of the ark. He's seen what pictures people drew of a box, a rectangle. And he's looking for this imagery, not for the light. Where the two tablets register within the two hemispheres of your brain. And the words of understanding upon your left, and the words of Hakama, wisdom, on your right. And in the midst of that assembly of thought, where the tablets are placed, there is a jar corresponding to the middle part of your brain that's filled with white cells, called the jar of mind, the mind. And inside this ark, there is the rod of Aharon that bears fruit, beams through the eyes as pairs of almonds to carry the messages of enlightenment.
To the circle, our dream, they have no end, just as a circle